Kunjabihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivara Dhari. Jasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jasodhanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabihari. Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Prabhupada. Gaur Premanande. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta, Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitya Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajacharya, His Divine Grace, Srila Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Granthara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. All glory to the assembled devotees. 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 Glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. $21, right? That verse up there? 22. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This we chose a special verse today from the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 22. Tamna sandarshito dhatra. Tvamna sandarsito dhatra. Dustaram nistitirsatam. Dustaram nistitirsatam. Kalim sattvaram pumsam. Kalim sattvaharam pumsam. Karnadhara ivarnavam. Karnadhara ivarnavam. Tamna sandarshito dhatra. Dustaram nistitirsatam. Kalim Sattvaharam Pumsham Karnadhara Ivarnavam. Dhatra Nishtitir Shatam Kalim Sattvaharam Pumsham Karnadhara Ivarnavam. Tamna Sandarsito. Tvam, your goodness, na, unto us, sandarshito, meeting, dhatra, by providence, dustaram, insurmountable, nistitir for those desiring to cross over. Kalim, the age of Kali. Sattaharam, that which deteriorates the good qualities. Pumsham, of a man. Karnadhara, captain. Iva, as. Arnavam, the ocean. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, Prabhupada ki jai. We think that we have met your goodness by the will of providence, just so that we may accept you as captain of the ship for those who desire to cross over the difficult ocean of Kali, which deteriorates all the good qualities of a human being. Prabhupada, the age of Kali is very dangerous for the human being. Human life is simply meant for self-realization. But due to this dangerous age, man simply completely forgotten the aim of life. In this age, the lifespan will gradually decrease. People will gradually lose their memory, finer sentiments, strength, and better qualities. A list of the anomalies for this age is given in this 12th canto of this work. And so this age is very difficult for those who want to utilize this life for self-realization. The people are very busy, so busy with sense gratification that they completely forget about self-realization. Out of madness, they frankly say that there is no need for self-realization because they do not realize that this brief life is but a moment on our great journey towards self-realization. The whole system of education is geared to sense gratification. And if a learned man thinks it over, he sees that the children of this age are being intentionally sent to the slaughterhouse of the so-called education. Learned man, therefore, must be cautious of this age. And if they are at all want to cross over the dangerous ocean of Kali, they must follow the footsteps of the sages of Naimisharanya and accept Sri Sutta Goswami or his bona fide representative as the captain of the ship. The ship is the message of Lord Sri Krishna in the shape of Bhagavad Gita or the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam. Jai. So as we all know, the mercy of the devotees, mercy of the Guru, mercy of the Supreme Lord, Krishna, that one can cross over this dangerous ocean of material existence. This material existence, especially is mentioned here in this Kali Yuga. It's a difficult age, a difficult place we're living in, because this age, everyone is so engaged and busy in sense gratification. This is why we see our temples are empty, churches are empty, because people are so engaged in self-gratification that they have very little time for God realization. They want to spend, because human life is so short, that they want to make most of it by engaging in sense gratification, because they think the end of life, that's it, that's the end. There's no more another life. So they want to make most of it by engaging themselves as much as possible to the extent of death. Enjoy till die. But human form of life is mentioned here, is not meant for sense gratification, but it is meant for God realization. And that is possible. Even though it's difficult, but it's actually possible by the mercy of the spiritual master. Just like you want to cross over the ocean. It's very big, ocean is vast. It's not easy to cross over to the other side of the ocean, but you can get on the ship. If the ship has the expertise of captain, it's mentioned here, captain of the ship, then they can drive the ship so nicely that it can avoid difficult parts in the turbulence of the ship from the ocean. Difficult ocean. Living in the sea is it's a very dangerous place. So, but if you're on the ship that's driven by an expert captain, then you can feel safe. The spiritual master is that captain who can very expertly guide us through these difficult paths of material existence, showing us the path back to Godhead, the spiritual world. This is why Guru, spiritual master, is so important, to take shelter of the spiritual master. Because the spiritual master, they are showing us the path to go back to Godhead, which we are looking for. Because everyone is looking to go somewhere. You see, as soon as there is a holiday, you see the road is full. The road is traffic jam, because everyone's trying to get out of the city, go somewhere else. You go to the airport, maybe they're opening up now. All those people want to get out, go somewhere else. Grass is greener on the other side of the fence. The cow is always stretching his neck to get the grass from the other side, while actually standing on the green grass already. But they're looking, the grass is greener on the other side. So we living entities, we're always looking for happiness. But in fact, the happiness is already there in you, within the heart. But that happiness, that spiritual happiness, of course, if you're looking for material happiness, is unending. There's no happiness. That's what they're all looking for. So spiritual happiness is when we can actually understand through Atmagyan, knowledge of the scriptures. That is being provided by the mercy of the spiritual master. Samsara dava nalalida loka. We sing in the morning. Samsara dava. This material existence like a blazing fire, forest fire, and we're stuck in it. And then the forest fire, we call it in Australia, bushfire. And then the cloud, rain cloud, it pours onto the burning bushfire of existence. And is extinguished by the soothing water of the rain cloud. So the spiritual master, Bande Guru Sri Charanar Vindam. We offer our respectful humble obeisances to the lotus feet of the Guru Charanar Vindam, the spiritual master, who is like the rain cloud. He's given us the path. He's showing us the path to go back home, back to Godhead, saving us from this suffering of existence. He's saying, come on, come on. Here's Krishna. And this is why Srila Prabhupada took so much difficulty to go to the US. Everyone else is going elsewhere, going to the West for a better life. Everyone is going overseas to Western country for a better life. So Prabhupada, when he saw these people are really suffering. They are samsara dava. They are being burnt in the fire of material existence. So Srila Prabhupada came like the cloud, the rain cloud, pouring down the water in a very summer, very hot, during that summertime, very hot. That time, everyone is, in India sometimes gets so hot, your feet get stuck, your shoe gets stuck on the road because of the tarmac. It's melting. And then everybody wants rain. And this big, big rain cloud, monsoon cloud. They're so nice, those monsoon clouds. I remember we look forward to it. And it's always in the evening because it's very hot. And then big monsoon cloud, the rain comes down. And the birds, and the trees, everyone, they feel just cooled down. They just feel so cooling. So the spiritual master, he goes to the place where there's so much suffering. To the Western country. Western country, like here in Australia, if you're walking around, it's so difficult to find a place to sit. You have to go to a park. Everything is allocated. You go to India, everyone's sitting around everywhere. And here, and in the evening, you see people just on the side of the road playing, so many bazaar. Nobody in home, everybody in the street. Because it's so good feeling. Here, everybody's at home after work, in front of a TV. They're already stressed out. They're looking at a TV, they're all stressed out as well, or looking at some screen. So, this spiritual master goes to, Srila Prabhupada went to the West, where there's people are really suffering. They're stressed in life. Material suffering is very subtle, that they may have everything materially, but they're missing Bhagavan. They're missing spiritual life. They're missing spiritual knowledge. They're missing Krishna. The source of everything is Krishna. They're missing that. So Krishna goes, like Srila Prabhupada comes, Krishna comes to fill up the gap. That filling up the gap is, he gives Krishna to everyone. So Krishna is showing, please come to me. So Prabhupada, the spiritual master, he's showing us the path. So Kali Yuga is a very dangerous place. It's a place of misery. Aprama bhavana loka punaravartina, Arjuna, Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita. From the highest planet in the material world down to the lowest planet, it's all full of misery. Nothing here so special about this place. You see, when Prabhupada went to America, the people came from all over America and Europe to meet the Swamiji. And you see the old videos of Prabhupada. They were dancing in ecstasy. Prabhupada himself was dancing because he was inspired by his disciples. So he bought that happiness that everyone is longing for, deep in the heart. So no matter how much materially one is situated in, unless one have God consciousness, Krishna consciousness, they're not going to feel happy because that they're missing that one thing. That one thing is spiritual life, that Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada comes and fills up the gap. That's why Prabhupada is perfect. Prabhupada is so loving. You see, when I remember meeting Prabhupada, when Prabhupada was coming to Mayapur, it was the talk of the months. Prabhupada's coming, Prabhupada's coming. And we're counting the days. 6 months before, everybody knew exactly what the day is coming. And it was like we're counting the days, months, just 1 month. And the week that the same week when Prabhupada is arriving, just people don't even feel hungry. They're just thinking of Prabhupada. Just like when we think of Krishna. We're not thinking. Or perhaps when you're taking prasadam, you're not thinking other things, just observe. So when Prabhupada was coming in 1 week, and in those days prasadam was really simple. We didn't feel like eating anyway, but it was very simple. So it was very easy to renounce. But when Prabhupada was coming, if they got a letter from Prabhupada, it was like, they have to hide it because they had to break the news in the temple after Mangalarati. They'll read the letter, Prabhupada, this is the date, he's coming. People are like, devotees were in tears when he's coming. It was so emotional. So that week that Prabhupada is coming, I can't even explain to you how it was at that time. And the day before he came, it's like everyone was pulling their hair out. It was so ecstatic. And I remember the first time I met Prabhupada, I only heard from the Western devotees because they saw him. And we always see many sadhus. But I wasn't that excited because I had a guru in our home known as Jati Guru. They call it Kula Guru. But he had long hair, but he eats fish and stuff. But we can't judge. Maybe there are some pastimes. But when we heard of this Prabhupada that came from the same place in Bengal, and he's coming with Westerners. So when I heard from Western devotees, I thought, wow, he must be so different. And so Prabhupada was coming the day, and I was also thinking, wow, amazing. So they asked me to go down the road from Mayapur, and when you come out of the front gate, you go down towards the Chaitanya Math, and the road will curve. You can see it. They don't have it anymore. They still have a huge banyan tree right in the corner there. It's a really cooling place because summertime, everyone likes to sit under a banyan tree, very cooling. And if you want to have a really good sleep, the best place to sleep is under a tree. If you go to UP in India, they have people sleep under the tree. They have this wooden bed made out of rope. It's like in the West, they have the water bed, kind of like that. And they sleep under the tree, so cooling. So they say, you go there, and you have the red flag, and you raise it when you see Prabhupada, so they could be all getting ready. So they had a group of devotees in Harinam group, the Kirtan group, Mridanga player, everything is in formation. And because when Prabhupada gets out of the car, and they're going to sprinkle flour, who's going to do what, and down the road all the way to the temple from the main gate. And so, but they want to know when he arrives. So when the road curves, there's the banyan tree there. I'll be lying there. So those days, there was hardly any car would come to Mayapur because it's a very village area. Time to time, you get to see a truck coming. They're bringing bricks and stuff for construction. But cars, very rarely. So no cars were coming. Hours went by. So I thought, I had the flag with me. I thought, maybe they're coming, not coming, who knows. So I had a rest. I lay down, like I said, it was very cooling. I lay down, and just when I closed my eyes, and I heard this, Hare Bol! It was Tamil Krishna Maharaj. He stuck his head out of the car, it's all the sannyasis. There's 3 cars, Prabhupada's in the middle. And all the cars were decorated with flower. In India, when people get married, they decorate the car with flower and vases. It's very beautiful. It's Prabhupada's car, so it's in the middle, it's all rose petals, and so beautiful, big vases in the side. And then I got and in India you can't really drive too fast because the roads are not that good. So I could run behind all the way down to the temple, to the front gate, and got out. And I had to join my service was to get the basket, rose petal on Prabhupada's feet. And there was another boy on his left side, so I was on the right side of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada would lift his feet at the same time. Before he can put his feet down, we have to sprinkle the rose so his feet can land on the rose. And the other boy, same, lift. So we had to be very conscious that don't miss. Prabhupada lifts feet, flower, and all the way down to the main gate. They don't have that road anymore because of the TOVP. So ecstatic. And there was all these Maharajas, they were on the Lotus building, the first floor, second floor, all the way to the roof. So when Prabhupada would arrive, they had to be very, very on time. And Prabhupada gets right to the side there, they'd be all throwing down the flower. So he has to land on Prabhupada. All the way. So I was just looking, wow, this is what Prabhupada looked like, because I saw him the first time. And they always talk about lotus feet. I literally want to know, is it really lotus? We talk about any devotee, Prabhu, lotus feet here. Not really lotus, but it's just a sentiment. But Prabhupada actually, he had a lotus kind of feet. So they put his shoe, those days, when Prabhupada came in the temple room, they put his shoes inside the temple, just back of the door. So everybody's there. I thought, they said, you have to get the mercy of Prabhupada. So I went down there and shake his feet, and there was nothing in it, and touch it to my head. His shoes. We may have his shoes these days, but it's in a glass cage. The shoe may be up there, right? And then I was looking at his feet very closely. Putting the side of his feet kind of rosy a little bit. But so it's lotus feet, I guess. So Prabhupada was, he was very, very serious. And he had the chadar like this, and he was stretched up, always kind of looking up and looking around. He was checking how we are behaving, how we are dealing with each other and stuff. Prabhupada was always wanted to make sure that we're doing correctly. So I think he was very stressed out spiritually. He wanted to make sure there's so many devotees to take care, make sure that they're doing things correctly. So we sometimes worry ourselves, like, our temple commander or temple president or Mataji, Chintra Mataji, they worried to make sure the temple managed nicely, everyone doing the services nice. You can imagine Prabhupada, how he felt. He had to manage the whole movement. And those days, the beginning days, are we chanting our rounds? Are we following the principle? Are they maintaining the deity worship nicely? It's a lot of things in Prabhupada's head. But Prabhupada, he was not disturbed. He was very sober and very understanding. He was like, oh my God, how am I going to manage? No, he was everything under control. Because Prabhupada is pure devotee. He is monovishta avijayate. He was in direct connect with Krishna. Prabhupada knows what pleases Krishna the most. He's consulting with Krishna. Why do we think we have the deity worship, everything, the standard we follow? This is coming from Krishna, because he will tell. Somebody said Prabhupada was reading his books. So devotees asked Prabhupada, why are you reading your own book? You must know what is in it. He said, no, because I didn't. Prabhupada, Krishna told me to. He was dictating. So these words are Krishna's words. Why do you think one elderly man within 10 years writes so many books? He didn't sleep much. While we were sleeping, he was writing books at night. He was dictating in the thing. He was sleeping a little bit in the afternoon, and at night he had a little bit of sleep. He was writing all night. Gurakesh, like Arjuna is known as Gurakesh. He conquered the sleep. And Prabhupada actually conquered the sleep. If I was going around the world as an old man, I'd be tired. Everyone is, Prabhupada, give me a break. Yeah, everyone was so, he can handle it because he was not affected by all this glory. He was not affected by material situations. Yeah, I'll go crazy for so much to do. Go home and a closed door. You manage it. Somebody said, I want to become God. He was crazy. He said, Krishna, make me God. He said, fine, tathastha, you become a God. And he went crazy. Too many, I don't want to, please take away. Because everybody's coming to God, give me this, give me that, make me this, make me that. People go to God for material things. They're not asking, please, I want to serve you. That's only devotees. So he said, no, I don't want to be God. So Prabhupada, he was very cool. He was very relaxed. But he may be relaxed, but he was always wanted to preach. If he went to a temple and he didn't organize someone to see to talk to preach to, he'd be up and down. Bring me someone I would talk to. Gurma Prabhu was telling me when Prabhupada came to Perth, and they didn't have anyone, they didn't arrange anyone for him to talk to preach to. So Prabhupada was going up and down the room. He said, bring me someone. So they grabbed someone they bought, and this guy had long hair, and Prabhupada talked to him for like hours, and he didn't say anything. And when he left Prabhupada, this guy was haunted. Like, huh? in Perth. Prabhupada said this guy was haunted. It's like, but Prabhupada keep preaching to him because he's so determined to preach. Paraduka dukhi. A Vaishnava sees others suffering, he feels hurt. So Prabhupada was like that. He always wanted to preach Krishna consciousness. And he saw it as an urgency. When we go on Harinam, you see people, they enjoy it. It's easy for us because Prabhupada already established everything. It's easy to manage. Imagine in the beginning, so tough. But Prabhupada was very cool because Prabhupada said when he left Vrindavan, he was in New York, he didn't leave Vrindavan. He brought Vrindavan with him. I remember when I first when I left Mayapur, I came to Australia 1984. And that time, I thought everybody here is devotees. Because all the foreigners I saw in Mayapur, I thought I didn't see any white devotees that wear karmi clothes, because every one of them is devotees. So I thought in Australia everybody's devotee. So I was like, wow, I can't wait to see a whole country devotee. So innocent. I arrived here, said, what are you doing here? Show me your passport. I was like, wow, I thought wrong. And so, it's just like you all think you go to India, everyone is devotee. They're not. Oh yeah, Vrindavan. I have some yoga students I brought from China. They say, wow, Vrindavan, like they read in Krishna book. It's like 5,000 years ago. So I took them to Vrindavan and said, oh, I was like shocked. That's what the description doesn't match. It's different from what's in the book. So I explained to them, you have to meditate what it was. So you have to rise your consciousness. So Prabhupada was in this place in New York. He wasn't affected by all the surroundings, the materialization, the cars and material civilization. Because he is so absorbed in Krishna. This thing cannot affect a pure devotee. And when Prabhupada was talking to the guest, and someone gave him a big stack of money, like if someone gives me money, like, oh, straight away put away, And he was not affected. He was talking about Krishna like I'm talking, and he had things in his hand, he was moving around. And he was holding the money and was waving and talking. Big stack. And people think, wow. But we all knew he didn't care. He thought this is just papers. Real wealth is Krishna consciousness. He was never affected, and he was very serene, very satisfied. He is not affected by, everyone is jumping on his feet. And, of course not jumping, but everybody wants to touch his feet, people are around, surrounded. But he himself was completely satisfied. This is why all of our temple, you see here also, the Prabhupada Murti is looking at the deity. In Mayapur, Vrindavan, all the places you go to, directly facing the deity, because he wants to just see Krishna. And I'm sure, Prabhupada, so I had this idea, in Mayapur, they have his room. There's on the Lotus building, they have Prabhupada's room where he used to rest in the afternoon. So one day, my job was to water the plants on the roof when he's Prabhupada resting. So I was like ecstatic. I said, wow, I'm going to see Prabhupada in the room resting. And so I looked through the window, and maybe I thought, maybe there's Ras Leela going on, the gopis, and the whole Vrindavan, and Prabhupada is there. And it's not like here sometime you can't see through the glass because of the special glass. So I was looking like that. And I was really hoping to see what's going on in there, pastimes with the cowherd boys in Vrindavan, because, Prabhupada is in there. I didn't see anything because I didn't materialize. And so I was just mucking around on the roof, watering the plant, and I came from a very simple place like Santipur, village area. So we used to water the plants. My job in home, I used to water sak, winter spinach. That was my job, is to grow. So I used to water the plants. So I say, I know how to water the plants. But they didn't have that thing. They had a hose. I said, wow, this is fantastic. I never saw what is a hose. So I was hosing, instead of plants, some people down there from the roof. So it's quite fun. You know, somebody going, hey, some laborers. So I watering. So then I felt this knock on my back. I look around, that was Prabhupada. He was angry. I was like, what are you doing? So I was very nervous. So I paid my obeisances. He says, don't do that because you need to water the tulsi, the plants. So he chastised me. So I thought, so Srila Prabhupada was very, very aware of everything. Even though so much was going on, he was very aware of everything. Hare Krishna. So, in this age of Kali, it's a very difficult age, but when there is some difficult situation, there's also a cooling place you can go to. When you walk around in Melbourne or any city, they also have a park you can go to. You can also go to riverside, right? The cooling place. Like if you buy yourself some food, you have a picnic you want to do, then you want to go where there's less people, you can sit on a bench. And they have places like that. So similarly, this Kali Yuga is a difficult place, but at the same time there is also a process of Krishna consciousness as an alternative for us to take shelter of. But we do not know what is that alternative. That alternative is given to us by the mercy of the Guru. Hare Krishna. Kaise hai? So the spiritual master is our savior, is our life. Without the mercy of the spiritual master, we wouldn't have all of this Krishna consciousness, this beautiful temple. Like you guys here, hey, Haribo, you boys, your only shelter is Krishna. And what's your other shelter? Your parents, right? Your parents says, get out of the house. Where are you going to go? You take complete shelter of your parents, right? So our parents is Krishna. Our parents is Prabhupada. I'm going to tell you this story. In writing, by law, Prabhupada is supposed to be my father. By law. Okay? So if you think I want to kick this guy out, you are on the wrong side. I have to be here in the ISKCON. Anyway, when I'm going to tell the story, when I first joined the Hare Krishna movement, Mayapur, that time there was some difficulty between my father and mother. Okay, so my mother said, I'm going to become a Hare Krishna, ISKCON. You can do whatever you like. And she did it, seriously. So she left, like Prabhupada went to America, stay over me, and Prabhupada left. So my mother left him and he joined ISKCON. So then I'm very attached to her. I wasn't attached to my dad so much. We are a very passionate guy. So I want somebody very mellow, peaceful. And ladies usually are, unless when you get angry. We don't want to see it. So I was at someone else, at my uncle's place. My mother already left. So then I was going crazy, So my mother came to my uncle's home. And I looked at her, I said, you don't look the same as before. Like I used to see you at home. You look funny now, like weird. And he has a beautiful sari. But she had tilak, and they had those days, they have bead bag with like a big Prabhupada badge on it. I said, who is that? And she was chanting. So all the village people came to see her, including me. I said, my mother's gone Vikari. She's become a sadhu, like a yogini, that kind of person. And in Bengal they have yogini. They have long hair. They do this thing in front of Durga, some mystic thing, tantric. So I become tantric. So then I went to see her. She didn't do this hair thing. She was very dressed nicely, very behaved, very peaceful. And I saw she had this effulgent around her, I was like, effulgent, like, you know, when you look at a sun or something, sometime, or moon, at night, they have this, like a glow around it. And she had this, and I guess others couldn't see. So anyway, the reason why she came to get me to ISKCON, to start a Gurukul, everybody dragged me away from her. So it's like, you know, in India, when they milk the cow, they bring the calf for a few minutes, and then they pull it back. I don't know, there's a reason for that, right? So they pulled me back, I could see her for a few minutes. They all pulled me and said, put me in another house, because they knew she came to get me. So she couldn't take me. 6 months I couldn't go with her. And so I thought to myself, I had attraction for her more than before. Like something like when Krishna was eating the lunch with cowherd boys, and Brahma stole the cow. And then when he went back, all the cows was Narayan. So the same thing happened to me. Like I was looking at her and she left. This time I had more affection for her than before, where I couldn't express to others, because everybody says she's gone crazy. But I didn't think. I thought she's better now. Because she was always, because she was stressed out at home. After becoming a devotee, she was so peaceful. She was chanting like a, you know, I thought, wow, this is what I want her to be. Not so angry and very peaceful. But I couldn't go with her. So I was thinking, when she comes next time, I'm going to go. No one can stop me. So when small kids are very smart, they plan many things. When they want something, they plan. So I was planning. I thought, when she comes, I'm going to go through the rice field and catch her in the train station. So I told, when she came back, they did the same thing, try to. So I told her, okay, you go here through the main road, and then I will meet you at the train station. No one can find me. I took the rice field. I met her at the train station. This is how I came to Krishna consciousness. I'm actually writing a book. I already started it. Everyone is saying, I got like this, my story. It's gonna get old, memory is gonna get short, I won't be able to remember. So I have to write it all down. So I met her there. So my uncles, they all caught up with us at the station. So where are you going? You're supposed to stay and not go with her. I says, if she's my mother, I'm going. What's your problem? I got on the train, bye-bye. And the train arrived just on time. It's like a movie. They all came, train came, I got on the train. Before they can catch me, I'm all in the train. And the train, those days was those steam train. And I was off to Mayapur. And then, so anyway, this is a very long story. And then after some time, my father came to get my mother. I didn't know all this thing going on. So it's Guru Puja happening. Those days, Guru Puja is not like someone's looking at the deity, somebody going outside having puja. There was all full on. Guru Puja is Guru Puja. Everybody, Jaya Prabhupada. Like, there's so much love for Prabhupada. Everyone was there. Everyone, whole temple, Guru Puja. And so they pulled me out. I said, where are you going? Guru Puja, I haven't finished. They said, they want you in the office. So I got up in the office, and Bhavananda, Bhavananda used to be a big time manager in Mayapur. So we were like scared of him. I said, Baba, I want to see. I said, oh, I was shaking. So when I went there, my mother was there, my father was there, translator, because they didn't speak English, even me. So first thing they asked me, I walked in the room, I was like, oh, what's going on? And they had a stick. Bhavananda always sat next with him, he had a stick. Sannyasis carry a danda, but he also had another stick to hit you. He didn't really hit you, but he was just scaring us. In Bengal, you need people with a stick, otherwise they just go, to get service done, they need to whack people sometime. Anyway, so I got in the office, and Bhavananda said, what do you want to do? You want to stay in ISKCON, or you want to, with your mother? He didn't say ISKCON, he said, you want to stay with your mother, or you want to go with your father? So somebody asks you that, and you're intense. I said, I had to think quickly. So I said, I want to stay with my mother. Well, she's very cool and she wants to be a devotee and has attraction for Krishna consciousness. I don't want to go with this passionate guy. And he got so angry. He said, so he slammed the door, he walked out. And so I said, oh, phew, so I can stay in ISKCON now. So a week later, I had to go to the court. In Navadip, there's a court. Here you go to Supreme Court, then there's lower court, higher court, like that, right? So Navadip, court in Navadip is like going to like Pusharam Hall. Everybody's outside and the Pusharam ready. So this court was full of people outside the wall. I came in with my mother and all the foreigners. In those days there was not many Indians. They want to protect me and my mother to stay here. So I went there, all the foreigners. The whole Navadip was there to look at the foreigners. So they are climbing over the wall to get inside. Because there's police there. You can't walk in the court area. So I was thinking, wow, what's going on? I didn't know what's court and all this happening. I was just a little kid, like, 6 years old. And so then the guy said, you come here. So I stand in the middle. They have this wooden door. And I had to go inside and repeat what the judge said. Said, what do you want to do? Do you want to stay in Hare Krishna with your mother, or you want to go with your father? Same thing they asked me in the office. I said, I want to stay. They actually they trained me before I went there to say these things. I'm going to say it anyway. So then I said, I'm staying with my mother. So then that was it. And they said, the judge said, this boy, this is pagal ho gaya. It's like he's crazy. These Hare Krishna people brainwashed him. Because those days, brainwashing was a very big thing. Even they used to say in the West, oh, you become a brainwashed. They Hare Krishnas. You look at it, you can't stop chanting Hare Krishna, you're brainwashed. They don't know it's the power of the holy name. So about a month later, I had to go back again. And so they said, by law, your guardian is your guru, your Hare Krishna movement guru, that's Prabhupada. So this is the story I'm telling you. So I'm supposed to be here, ISKCON, and my father's guardian is Prabhupada, by law. Yeah, this wanted to tell the story. So it was so amazing how when Prabhupada came, he could see where we are at, how we are performing our Krishna consciousness. He could see this guy is in Maya, this guy. But he didn't just say, you're like this. He was very kind, very understanding. Because when Prabhupada came to Mayapur, they were making all the Mangalarati sweets very special. Because they would give him all the sweets to distribute to the devotees during the Guru Puja. So they had this sandesh. They have sandesh here now. We have sandesh, right? Not like the ones are here. Very special. They have gold leaf over it, and they have the burfi, so special. Big ones with gold leaf. So I always wanted to eat that after, because in Mayapur you never get that. They give to the sannyasi, they sell it. So I thought, and the pujari room is always open. They go in and out, that's Pankaj Jagannath Vice Prabhu. Because they didn't have many pujaris, so the two pujaris doing everything. And they forget to close the door. They're in a hurry. I said, wow, they're going to go in there and get some Mangalarati sweets. So they used to, those days in Mayapur, everything you wear, like gamsha, bead bag, kurta, they make it. Handloom, they had handloom. So they take your size, they make your shoes, everything. I said, I want my bead bag extra big. This like, I said, yeah, sure. Because some labor, they will do whatever you tell them. They don't know you're going to use the bead bag for something, not just the beads. I said, my bead bag should be bigger. And the pocket, one here, one inside. One here and one inside, extra pocket, because I want to put other things. They said, okay. So then I had the extra big bag, bigger one, extra bigger. So I had put sweets inside. And Prabhupada was there. And the sweets went missing. I didn't know that it was for Prabhupada. So they can make quickly more. And I didn't keep it in, I kept in the bead bag and ate it quickly because they may be checking. So when you chant japa in the temple room in Mayapur, those olden days, they don't just sit, they go around. Hare Krishna, they walk around. And when you come behind the temple room, the deity room, and there's this area here, there's nobody's there. So I would check the last person way over there. So I would go quickly behind and eat the sweets before he can arrive. Understand? So they were checking. So there's the word was going around, the sweets are missing. Sandesh and burfi missing, 2 or 3 pieces. I had in my bead bag while they're checking. So I don't know. What sweets? Well, I had it in bead bag. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Big bead bag, underneath the sweets. Nobody's going to think that check in the bead bag. They all thought I'm a pure devotee, like I'm chanting, But I had sweets. Anyway, so that day, doing the Guru Puja, Prabhupada was giving sweets. And he looked at me like, So he knew I stole the sweets. But he didn't say anything. So I was thinking, he's sadhu, he knows everything. In India, we know the sadhus and gurus and saintly people, they know your mind. So I was thinking, oh my God, he knows I took the sweets. Look at the way he's looking. So I was thinking, please forgive me, sorry. I was very sorrowful inside, but I don't want to express it because I don't want people to know at the same time. So there's a lot of stories I have like this about how Prabhupada is very, very subtle about everything. So when Prabhupada was managing, it's not that he's managing, but he also knows everything. Sometimes devotees have said, during the class, they would say, somebody has a question, and Prabhupada knew the answer, and he was talking about it. And they said, Prabhupada, you already answered it. So Prabhupada knew the mind of the devotees. So that's if you are a manager, if you can understand our mind, then things can be done easily because they don't have to manage so much because they'll do it. So Prabhupada was like that on that level. He was so pure, so loving. So my point here in this purport of the Bhagavatam is that Kali Yuga is a place, a very difficult place, and especially now it's getting worse and worse. 2 years ago, we had Govardhan Puja here, remember? I still have the video. I was up there singing. I was like this. You can hardly walk. So ecstatic. Everyone's pushing each other. Sukadev came in and said, sing more softly. I said, you're telling a wrong person that. He's like, And people because they had to control everyone. Sometimes you can get hurt. But everyone is so ecstatic. You go to some temples in India, they stample on each other. You heard of it? Sometimes they stample, they walk on it, they die. They can't breathe. So we don't want to get to that stage. So they were worried. So now, you see now, giving Bhagavatam class, temples are actually packed. Everyone's watching online and hearing online. So, Krishna can change all this. But because we are living in Kali Yuga, times is making more and more difficult, even for devotees. For us to chant Hare Krishna, to do a fired-up kirtan. It's not easy because this situation is changing, constantly changing, due to the age of Kali. But if we have sincere desire to practice Krishna consciousness in this Kali Yuga, Krishna will arrange everything. So right now, don't worry. Even if there's no one around, you have Krishna with you. Prabhupada went to America. There was not many people with him. But he says, I can feel the presence of my Guru Maharaj next to me. I can feel the whole Vrindavan next to me. You're sitting under a tree. Sometimes you say, Prabhu, you're dreaming. And none of that are here. But when we talk spiritually, spiritual things are always there. Even if you're dreaming, they're in your mind. This whole spiritual world can appear in your head, in your heart. They're magic, mystical. 900,000 cows, 900,000 of cows in Vrindavan. How big is Vrindavan? Where are you going to put all those cows? That takes up all the space. Where's your room, your house, toilet? This is going to take up all the space. 900,000. But it's all very magic. And those 900,000 cows under the Govardhan Hill. How big is Govardhan Hill? Plus all the residents, all the people, the women and everything. There's a lot of people. So it is all mystic. It's all magic. Spiritual mystic. Krishna is known as Yogeshwara. Mysticism. So Prabhupada also very mystic. Prabhupada was putting tilak on the 10th floor. He's putting tilak on. He said, Prabhupada, the car is waiting for there downstairs to take you to a program. So Prabhupada said, you go down there and I'll meet you. So when he went there, Prabhupada was there already. How did he get there? So Prabhupada is also mystic. When you go to India, when I go to Mayapur, I say, I don't want to drink any water. It will make me sick. I say, I only drink coconut, dab. So Prabhupada was drinking coconut once. And he said, and he didn't finish it. He gave to his disciple. And he was drinking and drinking, and he couldn't finish it. He gave to 10 people around. There was how much water in one coconut? Everybody, they had too much coconut water from one coconut. So Prabhupada is mystic. He knows everything. And last days of Prabhupada, today's Prabhupada disappearance, the last days Prabhupada was in Vrindavan. He couldn't walk, and so they used to carry him on a palanquin. So the devotee who used to carry him, he told me this story. It needs 4 people to carry in a palanquin, two here, 2 in the back. So Prabhupada used to sit on that. So if I carry someone, you have to get ready because it's very heavy and because of the weight. So he went to pick up. They all pick up nothing, like picking up this book. They all look at Prabhupada. They said, what happened today? He wasn't heavy at all. He was completely light, like picking up a cotton. So they all look at Prabhupada. And Prabhupada wanted to show this a joke with them as a mystic. Prabhupada said to them, today I am light. Like he's a joke. He says, today I am very, very light. So there are 8 mystic siddhis. One of them, you can become very heavy or very, very light. Right? You can fly. Sometimes it's very dangerous if you're very, very light and there's big wind, you can fly off. So you have to become heavy quickly. So Prabhupada was he had all the mystic power, but Srila Prabhupada could control it and use it. Like Jesus, he had mystic power, people. That's why he can attract the people. Prabhupada had all of this. Prabhupada, in India, there are so many people can do so many like yoga things, mystic. They can bring a coin from your pocket and bring it from your ear instead. They were showing to Prabhupada when he used to go for a walk on the Juhu beach. And Prabhupada said, he said to the yogi, he showed all his disciples, American disciples, he said, can you make these people like devotee? And shave their head, wear saffron, sari, become a devotee, Westerners, and take them back to Godhead. Stop birth, death, old age, disease. He says, Swami, that I cannot do. Prabhupada said, I can do. So you can only bring the coin from your pocket from the ear, but I can bring them back to Godhead. I'm saying this for you, Jack. So you got the mercy of Prabhupada. So Prabhupada's mercy is that He has given us the ultimate blessing to go back to Godhead. So, even at the deathbed, Prabhupada was dying. Prabhupada never dies. He is always there. But he was leaving this world. And he was chanting Hare Krishna and he was preaching. He was talking about Krishna. Prabhupada said, you can feel me when I'm leaving this body. Because he wants to show people how even at the time of death, he is preaching Krishna consciousness. He wanted to show that. He never wasted the time. Prabhupada was always talking about Krishna. So this is, pure devotee means Acharya. Acharya means one who lives by his own example. We can learn from Prabhupada, from his examples. Okay, Hare Krishna. Any questions? I think we're going to talk a little bit about it a little bit later on, right? Yeah? You want to say something, anybody? So, we'll talk a bit, yes? How can he talk? Because he didn't leave yet, he was still in the body. Yeah, slowly, softly. They have videos you can watch very softly. They had to hear very closely and how he's talking. Yeah, they had mic, they had speaker, because they're recording what he's talking. That's what I'm saying. Prabhupada asked the devotees if they allow him to record him and film him while he's leaving the body. Sometimes it's rude to film someone who is leaving, dying. But Prabhupada wanted to show that even he is leaving this world, he's preaching. So they were recording him. So he was talking softly. They have the video of that in the movie, Prabhupada movie. His final times, yeah.
Do you know what he was speaking about at that point?
I forget, but he was talking some verse from the Bhagavad Gita. Yeah, he was saying something about remembering Krishna always. Means even at the time of death, you can remember Krishna. What Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, think of me, become my devotee, worship me. So he was preaching to the devotees, even at that time. So Prabhupada was never like any normal people. He was always a pure devotee by birth. Whatever happens, it's like a leela. Prabhupada's pastimes. He had a family, and then he had a business. This is all his leela. So he gave it all up and went to preach Krishna consciousness. Because of Prabhupada's mercy, we have this Melbourne Temple. This is a special temple, Melbourne, because here is this temple of Melbourne is Prabhupada himself opened this temple. There's a stone there on the wall, opened in 1975, and he installed the Radha Ballava, the deities here. They had pictures of them, how they used to look like those days, simple dress. Now I have much more elaborate worship over the years. But Prabhupada installed this, he established this temple. So this is a very unique temple. His mercy is on us. We can feel His presence. Prabhupada sitting here is actually there. If you think, oh, he's not talking to me, then you have to go and ask him, well, you're not talking to me. He will talk to you. So Prabhupada is there. We have to become more spiritually sentient. Then Krishna, Prabhupada will reveal himself through different means. Yes? What is the age? That was 1975, at the Krishna Balaram Mandir, opening day. An exact date when the temple was opened on that day. So that's their history. So 1975, on Ram Navami, and that's in April usually, on that day when Lord Ram appeared, 1975, April, right after Mayapur festival, there's usually Vrindavan festival. So on that day, a big initiation ceremony. So, yeah. Yeah, on that day. Everybody knows. 9. What's your age now? Okay, next year you'll be initiated. 9, huh? Well, I have a video. I'm getting the beads from Prabhupada. Everybody said, wow. When I walked up, they said, impossible. Prabhupada himself said, impossible. You're too young. But they didn't have a choice because there was no leaders around to talk to. So Prabhupada thought to himself, he said, oh, never mind. So if somebody says, if you are too young to get initiated, and if you didn't do your Bhakti Shastri course, and you have a disciple course, if you pass all that, if you pass the disciple course, and you did the Bhakti Shastri, and you're 9 years old, you can say, I don't know if anyone got initiated at that age, you can use me as a reference. Okay? We'll talk more about Prabhupada, I think later on. We'll have a program here later on. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki.